Hi, and welcome. I'm Victoria, and we're in the kitchen today making zucchini bread. We recently harvested the zucchini out of our raised bed garden. If you've ever grown them, you know zucchini plants are highly prolific. So we'll be having lots of breads and stir fries and anything else we can put zucchini in. And so will our family and friends. I grabbed a couple of these because I wasn't sure how much shredded zucchini one would make. We needed 2 cups for the recipe, but this one zucchini ended up being more than enough. I'm trying different camera angles today. So I have one angle being filmed on my GoPro, which is this angle, and another one on my iPhone. The iPhone footage is definitely not great quality. The scene that I shot from my iPhone is from the front view, and it's a little bit further away. So it may not just be the iPhone, it also may be the distance I have. Here you see that's the angle that I'm talking about, and I need to update my iPhone, and I've heard that the new iPhones have better cameras, so we'll update that. I'm quartering the zucchini and I'm shredding them in my food processor, but you can also use a box shredder, and it's going to work perfectly fine. It may just take a little bit longer. This is only the second full-length video that I've shot since starting my YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago. I've been learning a lot. I've listened to several content creators who say that even if your first videos are not great, post them anyway because you'll learn a lot and it's great practice. And I have found that to be true. My videos are definitely a work in progress. Came into this knowing absolutely nothing about creating content, but I've learned so much already. I'm not technologically savvy and I don't know much about computers, but I'm happy that I've learned so much already. Just this week, I've learned how to create thumbnails, how to use different cameras, different angles, and how to make a voiceover, which is what I'm doing right now. It's my first time. So if I can learn how to do those things, trust me, anyone can. As you can see here, this zucchini filled 2 cups, and I'm going to have extra that I'll go ahead and shred with the other zucchini that I already peeled. And you can freeze those and they'll last quite a while in the freezer. And they'll make more zucchini bread. So I'm greasing these loaf pans with butter. When I was younger, we used Crisco, but try to avoid that if possible. You can also just use a neutral oil, spread it with a paper towel or your hands. I found that clean hands are often the best tool to use in the kitchen. I put a little flour in each of the pan, and now I'm just moving that around in there to cover all of the inside of the pan, and then I'm tapping off the excess. Now we're just sifting the dry ingredients together. We have 3 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt, and then a tablespoon of cinnamon. So we're going to mix 2 1/4 cups of sugar with our wet ingredients in the mixer. So we have a cup of avocado oil or your favorite neutral oil. We have 3 eggs. And then lastly, 3 teaspoons of vanilla. And I made this vanilla last year with vanilla beans and vodka. It's amazing. One more thing I learned off of YouTube. And we're going to mix that just until blended, and then we're going to add our dry ingredients. And I used the plastic guard around that bowl just to keep the flour from going everywhere once I turned on the mixer. Once that's all mixed together, I'm going to add my 2 cups of zucchini. And then the final ingredient, 1 cup of pecans. The recipe that I used called for walnuts, which is fine. I just prefer pecans, and it's what I already had in the kitchen available. This is a pretty stiff dough starting out, but it does get a lot easier the more I stir. Now this recipe obviously makes 2 loaves, so I'm just going to divide the batter between the 2 of them and put them in a preheated oven at 350 degrees for 45 to 55 minutes, depending on your oven. We want to make sure we get all of that out of the bowl and into the pans. This won't rise up to the very top, but it does make a good size zucchini. It's not going to look like a loaf of bread, obviously, because it's a dense, quick bread, but it does rise nicely. All right, so I couldn't get a good angle taking these out of the oven since both my hands were full, but I took them out. I put them on a cooling rack for 20 minutes, and then I ran a knife around the edges so that they would release from the pan. You don't want to leave them upside down like this for too long. They'll have those ridges from the cooling rack on them. Ask me how I know. Once they've cooled for a bit, then you can slice it up, put some butter on it, and enjoy.